It's Sports that Amplified with Andile and the Mighty Metro FM. I am Andile Ncube, and today our guest is chairman of Richards Bay. Now, Richards Bay has officially announced Vasily Manusakis as their head coach following the team's latest defeat to TS Galaxy. The Natal Rich Boys started the campaign with Manusakis as well as Pitso Dladla as their co-coaches, but they've decided to do away with it and appoint a coach and his assistant. Joining us to have this conversation is Jomo Biyela, Richards Bay chairman. Chairman, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the show.
Evening, evening to your listeners also.
Before I even begin the conversation, how are you feeling? I know, at some points, I think, I'm not sure if it was late last year, early this year, you were a little bit under the weather?
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Right, man.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm fine. Thank you.
And then, of course, Babu Biyela, it will be a mess of us not to mention what you and the club has had to go through over the last couple of weeks, of course, with the loss that you suffered.
It's a very unfortunate situation, but you all know that there's nothing you can do when God has decided to take one of us, painful as it is. We have to soldier on.
I can only imagine that losing a member of your family, a player at your club, the way that you guys lost to Siphamandla Mtolo, it forces you almost to look within the club and ask a lot of questions, as what we have been asking ourselves. Is there something at training? Is there something? Have you guys had a look? Have you gone back and have you introspected on the entire thing? Have you come up with perhaps measures? And I asked this when about Biyela because there's so little information obviously out there, but there's such a proper scare for players who are now wondering, hey, what could have happened?
It's unfortunate, Andy, that all players are important, but we lost a special player. We lost a leader. We lost a player, really. I know players are irreplaceable, but we lost someone that you never... Players are there, they are good, but he has something special, and may his soul rest in peace. It happened at training just before, maybe 5 minutes before the finish training. He was fine. There was nothing wrong with him because he had a good game, in fact, against Kaizer Chiefs the previous Saturday. We really don't know what happened because we are not medical experts, but we've engaged, obviously, doctors. They've examined everything. There is a report which I think at an opportune time it will be made available. But I'm not saying there is a good way of losing a player. There is no good way, but it also creates a problem when it happens in front of everyone at training, because technically it affects everyone, because that's a place that you use every day. We don't have any other place for us to train except the very same place. But like I said earlier on, what is left now is for us as a club to take this player, and it's for us as a club to play for him, because we know he'll have loved to see us doing well in the Premier League.
I can only imagine the trauma, and you're spot on. The players have to go back to that same place where they watched not only their teammate but their friend and brother in front of their eyes. Has there been some sort of psychological assistance that's been offered to players?
Yes, now you will have to thank all people that are helping us, professional help. We do have a program that we are following. We do have some program. We had one today. There's another one on Saturday. We've had 2 already. Because really things like this, you cannot just do it on your own, but you need also some people to assist you on this journey for us to be able. We are not saying we are going to forget, but at least to get that kind of help will also assist us.
No, siyabonga ke menenze kanjalo kubadlali Babu Biyela. If you're just joining us, we're having a conversation with Jomo Biyela, Richards Bay chairman, and of course we continue to pass on our condolences to the family, Jomo Mtolo. But Jomo, let's move on a little bit here, because I want to touch on what's happened since then, the unbundling of the coaches, but also just looking at how you started the season versus where you are. But let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have that conversation.
No problem.
Let's shake things up this March.
Let's go! I'm nervous. Yeah, we got it.
Will they be naughty or will they play nice?
Hopefully my mama wig don't come off.
From trivia to ridiculous physical challenges, Kevin Hart hosts a night of fun and games on Celebrity Game Face at 6:30.
The time we're still in the studio, I told him that, Ringo, you're going far.
What were the golden recipes for some of our legendary South African hits? Palia Kosha at 8:30. And our documentary slot at 9:30 highlights our most precious commodity, water. Sundays are fresh and exciting on 2.
Renault brings you the ultimate way to win a brand new Renault. Simply test drive a Clio 5 to stand a chance to win the top-of-the-range Clio 5 Intense. Experience the Renault difference. Visit your nearest Renault retail dealer today to test drive and win a brand new Clio 5. T's and C's apply.
Extra elegant and extra powerful. You'll love everything about the new and impressive Honor X8A and Vodacom. Get it today on a 2 gig Red Core data plan for just 379 Rand per month over 36 months. And take stunning pictures from every angle with a crisp 100 megapixel ultra camera. Plus, get the Honor X3 Lite Buds valued at 1,499 Rand. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
Be part of the 16th Annual SA Sport Awards.
All you have to do is dial *120*3 2020# and vote for your favorite People's Choice Sports Star of the Year. A. Refilwe Jane. B. Ayabonga Kaka. C. Tatiana Schoonmaker. D. Themba Zwane. Or E. Kagiso Rabada. Charges are R1.50 per USSD. T's and C's apply. For more information, visit www.sasportawards.co.za. Catch the SA Sport Awards on Saturday, 25 March at 8 p.m. Live on SABC Sport DTT Channel 4, OpenView 124 and SABC2 at 8:30 p.m. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Brought to you by the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. SABC Sport is the official broadcaster of the SA Sport Awards.
Hashtag Izinja Game.
For the love of the game.
Call the Metro FM live studio. 0860 002 160.
It's 24 after the hour 6. We're hoping to cross live to Sandton in just a bit as well, where Andile Ncube, journalist extraordinaire at the SABC, is amongst a group of people, players, journalists that are welcoming the FIFA World Cup Women's Trophy in South Africa. Ask yourself, do you actually know what the women, because everybody around the world knows what the men's trophy looks like. Jomo, do you know what Jomo Biyela, do you know what the FIFA Women's World Cup Trophy looks like?
I haven't seen it, but I'm excited that you might have a chance to host it.
Yeah, it is. It is in South Africa at the moment, just a trophy. So we'll cross to Velile in just a bit. But let's get back to your team. Richards Bay, at the beginning of the season, I remember even we had a conversation and I was telling you how well you guys were doing. But when you look now, 14th of January was the last win that you guys had. 7 games without a win, 5 straight losses. In the last 5 games, you've only scored 1 goal. What's happened at Richards Bay?
Andile, it's an unfortunate situation, but if you are a football person like yourself, you know that these things they do happen in football, where teams go through the rough patch. And what is important for us is to analyze each and every game and see where we are not doing well as a club. I'll take you back to the game against Super Sport, where we're leading maybe 5 minutes before the end of the game. We got on goal. We were fortunate to get a penalty. We missed it. You understand? So these are the things that do happen. Obviously, we'll be charged based on results. But it doesn't mean that you become a bad team overnight.
Has it got anything to do perhaps with the fact that when teams that come from the lower division qualify for the DStv Premiership, a lot of the PSL teams have said, no, we don't know them yet, we're trying to figure them out, and they do well. But come the second round, because that's when now the last 15 games, teams know who they are, they've figured them out. Do you feel that perhaps it could have been one of those situations?
I think you're spot on. We are spot on, Andy. I think obviously they have also analyzed us, but like I said, we still believe in our capability, and fortunately for us, I say fortunately for us, we're able to collect points as early as possible, and we're still going to collect points.
The squad, though, I mean, when you look at the players that you have, now that we're here and you're looking at what happens once the teams in the DStv Premiership have figured you out, do you think the squad is enough? Do you think that the squad and the players that you have is good enough to compete? You're looking at next season now. You're already starting to think of all of that. Do you think what you've got is enough to sustain in the DStv Premiership?
No, the issue is we've also been unfortunate, because if you look at our lineup, almost 3 regular players. I'm not saying other players are not important, but there's chemistry, everything. Like the player of vice captain Pinera has not played for almost 2 months. He's been out with injury. Paul Machemula, our central midfielder, who was key, has not played for almost 10 games now through injury. So there are other factors, to be honest, which are contributing in terms of rearranging. But again, as a new team, it was difficult to have more players, but we have also paid our dues now. We understand that to come next season, we need to have more depth so that we are able to compete, even though there are challenges in terms of other players not being present for whatever reason.
While we're still speaking about players, Jamal Omar Salim Magula, your goalkeeper, the Ugandan, there's been rumors and murmurs about Kaizer Chiefs' interest in him. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I don't entertain rumors. The only thing I entertain is the fact that all teams know how clubs are run, so if they're interested for a player with a 3-year contract, then you know what to do.
So this is the first you've heard of this?
Yeah.
All right. Now, you had co-coaches coming into this, Coach Beats or Coach Vasily. Those were your 2 coaches. You went with them all along. You've just sent out a press statement saying that you're unbundling them. You're having a head coach and an assistant coach.
That's true. And
why? Why come to that decision?
The reason is simple, and we are there on daily basis, and we are not only running football, but football is a business. And if there are things that are working, we have to stick to those things. And if you look at, because the problem is not about coaches here. Like I said, we are going through the rough patch, but at the same time, we need now to rearrange ourselves in a way that we feel that it's going to help the club. We're not the first team that has done it. I think maybe there's only one team now with co-coaches. After having 5 teams, they've got their own reasons, we don't know their reasons. But after sitting down with the technical team, because the way we do this thing, we don't bully people. We sit down with all of them and check what might be the problem and check other areas as well. So we took a decision based on consultation with the technical team and the management to say maybe that's the right route to go. And it was accepted by everyone involved. And everyone is supporting the project. And we are hoping for the best with the decision that was taken.
And you know what I enjoy about our conversation, Chairman, is that you're one of the few people, I know people listening don't know this, but you're one of the few people that will hold me accountable on this show. You will send me a text and say, Andile Ncube, it doesn't fly. And I will, look back and then we'll have a conversation and discussion on it. Hence, I feel comfortable with the same with you to say when things have happened, let's hold each other accountable. That's how this works. So with that being said, and I completely hear you, there's reasons why you've unbundled the coach. There's reasons why you've decided to now go head coach and assistant coach. What are those reasons? Because how do you then decide who's assistant and who's coach? How do you decide that if the coaches aren't the problem, then why are they getting unbundled and nothing else is moving?
Like I said, Andile, if you run a business, you assess your business. Or you assess and you see what makes it tick and what is also maybe creates some instability, or what makes it work and what makes it not work. And in this case, we felt that we need to turn around strategy. Like I said, we know strengths and weaknesses for everyone within our team, but at the same time, we need accountability. Andile, you might be married to your wife, but you are two different people. Unfortunately, the issue of approach, the issue of when we talk football, in this case, the issue of philosophy and all those things. So we felt that maybe right now, at least up until the end of the season, let's have one person accountable to the club, and so that we don't mix things, because we have to focus. We did not set our goals that maybe we want to go to Africa. I told you before, but we want to be in a respectable position. But I'm happy that after having a meeting with coaches, they understand that maybe this is the right way to go, to have one person accountable, but they will also be accountable because they are working together. And that's the main reason, to be honest, so that you know, which in this case, who is really reporting where. And if you have a business and then you stick to what you have been doing, even if it's no longer happening, you must have a turnaround strategy. That's our turnaround strategy that we feel it will take us to where we want to be as a club. I'm
going to try and interpret what you've just said, Chairman, and see if I'm correct in my understanding of what you're saying. And I'm going to base it on the example you made about me and the wife. The two coaches, as it is with any co-coaching or any partnership of two people, are not always going to be on the same page of philosophy, the way to do things, etc., etc. So therefore, we're going to go with the one who we feel has the strongest philosophy that is going to be able to assist us with where we are right now. Both co-coaches understand this, and we're going to move forward like that. But the one coach is now going to be the head, and we're going to be going with what they thought, what they experienced, and what their philosophy is.
Well, we are entitled to opinion.
No, it's not an opinion. It's a question, Chairman. I'm just wondering.
Oh, okay. No. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is we felt that under circumstances we need to have Coach Vasil. Other issues, obviously, are not for public consumption, because we are running a professional team here.
But there are other issues.
We have to. But no, what I'm saying is there are no other issues that I can talk about on this issue, because the issue is simple, that we need one person to account, but they are working together as a team. That's why they are a technical team. It's not like a team that's been given to one person. The team, they're a technical team. They have their program, they give us their program, we support their program, and they're working together. So, but at the end of the day, we have to have one person as a head coach and the other two as assistant, because there are two assistants, by the way.
Yes.
There's Ronnie Gabriel and Coach Peter.
Yes, Coach Peter Gabriel, of course, being brought in to be the two assistants. What are your new goals now, Chairman? I'm not sure. I mean, you did speak very broadly about what you wanted at the beginning of the season. Have those goals changed now? What are your new goals, if there are new goals, about how you want or what you want to see at the end of the season?
My goals were simple, that we want to be in a respectable position come the end of the season. We also we are not pushing for what people thought we are pushing for. which is Africa. I explained to you that one. And we are still there. We want to finish at a respectable position. We are a growing brand. We are a new team. We are not here we are here to compete. But I can tell you that come next season, we will see a different Richards Bay, which will be ready to compete.
What does respectable look like for the chair? Is it top 8?
We are within the top 8, Andy. Can't you applaud us that after losing 5 games, they're still in the top 8? Have you seen that before? I've never seen that before.
Well, I mean, you did so well at the beginning of the season. You collected all the points.
It means if you collect those points, you will be challenging for the league.
Okay, last one.
No,
before
my point is, that's what we do. No, we're still there. So ours is to fight to stay within the top 8. Yeah.
Lastly, before I let you go, umzi wako is where you must dominate. You have not been dominant at home. You've actually collected or won more games away from home than you have at home. That can't be something that sits well. Well, whenever you've had a home game, you've collected more. I mean, you've won more games away, 5 versus.
I'm posing this question to you now. Where is home?
Home is where the heart is. My
point is, that's not my home, unfortunately. So thank you also give us credit that we've played almost 23 games away. We are from Richards Bay. We are not from KSA. We stay in Richards Bay. We train in Richards Bay. We've played 23 games away. Really, we need to be given credit here. So the time we go back home, we'll do even better. Because we are playing at Mulas. We are not from there. We only come a day before the game. So we can't be proud that we are playing at home. We are not playing at home because we're from Richards Bay. We are not from...
So you don't consider that home? Yes, it's a home game as far as the PSL log is concerned.
Exactly.
Is this going to change come next season?
Yeah, we're hoping for the best. We've got reports from Prosperity that there's progress. Then we can say we are playing at home.
This is I've never heard this, Chairman, and thank you for bringing it up to us. You feel like you would have played 30 games this season, all of them away.
Exactly, that's true.
Because you don't consider playing in Durban, where you have to travel to, just like the teams that are coming to you, to be home. The advantage is gone.
We travel same day, same time with the teams that are coming.
So the advantage is not there.
We follow each other to Msanga Hotel. And then we play the following day.
Chair, I've always said this. We're always going to have conversations. End of the season. I think I will owe you congratulations. I feel like you will make that top 8. I wish you the best. You've stuck to your guns. As far as the team is concerned, I remember the first thing you said is, I'm not selling this team. This team is going to fulfill dreams of many KZN and South African young boys, and you've stuck to it. I wish you the very best, and I hope ukuthi uthola amandla ukuthi ingakusindi nala emalini iqembu.
Ngiyabonga Andile. For a first time to have 2 national team players under 23 and 2 nationals called by their respective countries, I think there's something good that you're doing as a club. Yeah.
And for a first timer in the PSL, how's that that bill, that monthly bill? It's not heavy yet?
Oh.
Jomo Biyela, Chairman, out of Richards Bay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Always love having conversations with them. It's 18:40. We go into our next conversation next.
This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile. Okay.
I've got Umbuzi Bumyandeni, who's a TS Galaxy and Banyana striker. So from the teams that you play, I mean, what do you get a stipend? You get like a thank you? How does it work? We actually spoke to Janine van Beek and Washiguti. One of the saddest things that's happened to her team is losing people like yourself. But she couldn't do anything because she can't afford to pay you.
Yeah, pelangiri goal scorer.
So the company you work for is part of the ownership of JVW. And when you left, I was like, "Pume company na zakai."
No, I'll be
This is Sport Night Amplified, powered by SABC Sport. Let's go. The Metro FM family mourns the passing of legendary jazz sensation Miss Gloria Bossman.
Come with me
down Paradise Road. We send our heartfelt condolences to her family, fans, and all who loved her. Your golden voice will be sorely missed. Nobody gets too much heaven no more. We thank you for your contribution to the jazz fraternity. Rest in peace, Miss Gloria Bosman. Your music will live forever. This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile.
I've got Umbuzi Bumnyandeni, who's a Tears Galaxy and Banyana striker. How many caps do you have for Banyana?
149.
149. You want to reach the magical 150.
I'm still hoping for that 30-second within the 150. I don't ask much, just within it 150.
But you feel you're doing enough to get selected. And the proof is in the fact that 2 seasons scoring over 27 goals, 30 and 27. You don't think that's enough?
It is enough. But enough.
The South African Football Journalist Women's Player of the Year Award with a 15,000 rand prize money. Yeah. Oh no. Habu we rotating you.
Thanks.
I wasn't bumping.
This is Sport Night Amplified, powered by SABC Sport. Let's go. Yo, we gon' get them. Get connected. WhatsApp the Metro FM studio. 060-552-7303.
Winning the Andile Ncube from London. Can you please ask the chairman, was it the mandate to get 30 points? Then after 30 points, they can start playing open football instead of defending, playing transition, winning with set pieces? Thanks.
Evening, Miss Andile. Yes, Pershan Dusan from Dival. Yeah, just like to comment on Richard's play. Yeah, it's you can go on top, but to be there consistent is something very difficult. It takes a lot needs a lot of professionalism in football, especially off the field. Yeah. In the meantime, I would like to wish all the best to Bafana Bafana on Friday against Liberia. Yeah, my country, Mozambique, is playing against Senegal on Saturday. Wish them all the best. But wow, Senegal, all the 23 guys are playing overseas. As in Mozambique, yeah, we're still fighting for that to export talent to overseas. Yeah, big up to your show.
Big up to you. Thank you so much for that one. Their coach, rather chairman, speaking to us there. I mean, how fascinating is that? They play their football in Durban. They train and live in Richards Bay. So it doesn't feel that is home. So he says, we're going to have played 30 matches at the end of the season, all of them away. That's quite a perspective, isn't it? 6:44. Joining me now is Lubengo Papo Mungomeni. You remember him all too well, former Mamelodi Sundowns and Swallows defender. Papi? Lubengo, are you there? Right, I think we've dropped the call. Is he there now? Oh, he is there now. Lubengo. Okay, Lubengo is not there. While we get Lubengo back, let's go to Velile Mnyandu, who's out in Sandton. The women's trophy, the FIFA World Cup trophy, is in South Africa at the moment. And many of you, I know for sure, don't even know what it looks like. Velile?
Yes, Ma.
It doesn't sound like you're with the trophy. It sounds like you're hitting a shot left.
Ma, it's an international week and a very busy week. So one has also been traveling in between the venues. So, as you know, under 23s, they are playing against Congo at Brazzaville tomorrow. It's the first leg of the final tie to qualify to the AFCON in Morocco later this year. So, yeah, but now I'm on the trophy tour agenda, yeah.
Talk to me about this trophy tour.
Yes, so as you know that we, as one of the countries that have qualified to the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. So for the next few days, we are hosting this trophy. It was in Soweto today, and tomorrow is going to Ekurhuleni. So tonight there's a gala dinner here in Sandton, which is also attended by the MEC of Sport in the province, Morgane Musibai. Also, we've got the ambassadors from Australia and New Zealand also here as well. I know that my colleague, Mazala Mbefi, has been following the celebrations or the tour during the day, which took place in Soweto. So tonight is just a gala dinner to look back on the day and also in terms of what to expect, especially at this year's World Cup.
Well, we look forward to it. And, of course, is it going to be open at any point to people that they can come there, they can see the trophy, take pictures with the trophy, perhaps?
Yes, definitely, especially tomorrow. I think they are in Katlehong tomorrow. As we have seen today, that the people also even had a chance to take a picture with the trophy. And I think that's what is going to be happening. Also, we do know that Zambia also is another country that has qualified to the Women's World Cup. They're making their debut there. And from here, that's where it will be going. So I think it's also something to just have that excitement, get people to be in the mood for the Women's World Cup. And I think it comes at the right time as well when Banyana is going to camp again. And next week, we know that they will be playing Serbia in the next international window, which is to continue to prepare for what is going to be a very tough group for them. There's the same group with Italy, there's the same group with Sweden, and also with Argentina as well. So this is, I think, the right time for them to.
Okay, Velile, your line not the greatest, so we're going to have to end this conversation here. But thank you so much, Andile Ncube, the SABC Sports Senior Reporter, for talking to us. Lubego Mgomeni is our guest, but I'm looking at the time now with just 10 minutes to go. You know, the conversations with Chairman Jomo Biyela and I always just stretch so long as we have these conversations. But the whole conversation around Lubego came when we looked at today. Mesut Ozil has retired from international football. He's retired from football. He's going to be taking his time out. And I wondered, how many soccer players locally actually retire? Or do we just see them gone, no longer there? I mean, I remember Morgan Gould retired. I remember Jimmy Dow retiring. I remember Yeye just a couple of months ago retiring. But you wonder, you know, Shaba, is he still a soccer player? Is he retired? You know, you ask yourself these questions of these players. Tsepo Masilela, yes, we remember him out at AmaZulu, but has he retired? Is he done with football? Do our players actually retire, or do they just stop playing? And that was the conversation we're going to be having, to say, you know, what's happened? Where's he gone? Has he stopped playing? And that's why so many times when we have conversations here and we bring players here, we had Jomo Rachale, for instance, to say, hey, we no longer see you. We haven't seen you in years. We had Ndulula here to say, hey, we don't see you in years. Have you retired? Sometimes you find that a lot of these players are not retired. They just don't have a club. You know, their legs have been cut short. Should they retire and announce their retirements when they do? Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. But I'm not sure if I'll be cheating him of his time to give him 10 minutes.
This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile. Okay.
I've got the newly crowned winner. It's got two winners. She's the third winner ever. For the first time, it goes to a non-Sundowns player. Here she is. Because it's a fact. That has been broken. And the break comes from Umbusi. TS Galaxy and Banyana striker crowned the 2022 South African Football Journalists Association Women's Footballer of the Year.
Banyana in 2002. So ngabala until now I'm still playing. So ngasho ukuthi
This is Sport Night Amplified, powered by SABC Sport. Let's go. The Metro FM Music Awards 2023 are back in Bombela, Mpumalanga. The awards return to honor and celebrate the best of South African talent. Stand by for the nominee announcements and get ready to vote for your favorite artist. The biggest night on the South African music calendar, going down on the 6th of May at the Bombela Stadium of Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Metro FM, it's where you're at. The Metro FM family mourns the passing of legendary jazz sensation, Miss Gloria Bossman.
Come with me down Paradise Road.
We send our heartfelt condolences to her family, fans, and all Your golden voice will be sorely missed. We thank you for your contribution to the jazz fraternity. Rest in peace, Miss Gloria Bosman. Your music will live forever. This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile. Okay.
I've got Umbuzi Bumnyandeni, who's a Tears Galaxy and Banyana Banyana striker, the newly crowned 2022 South African Football Journalists Association Women's Footballer of the Year. Do awards mean anything to you?
For me, mean a lot because kubonakala ukuthi umsebenzi wami abantu bayawubona and ngisaba bukeka ngathi nga 21.
You still look very young and very fit. Scoring over 27 goals for the last 2 seasons.
Still correct. 2021 correct 27 goals no undeceive, and then last season correct 31.
But that's what I said, over 27 goals. How?
Oh, so
how?
This is Sport Night Amplified, powered by SABC Sports. Let's go. Call the Metro FM live studio 0860 002 160.
It's exactly 6:52 on the mighty Metro FM. This is Sports That Amplified with Andile. I am Andile Ncube. 086 000 2160 is the call line. Give us a shout right now. WhatsApp on 060 552 7303 is where you can send your messages. Mesut Ozil has called it a day in his career. I mean, one of the most amazing players of his time. But, you know, all the players. I mean, you look at the likes of Zlatan, Wayne Rooney, and all these amazing players who played at the time when Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi played. It feels like their greatness will never really be seen because they played with players that were just absolutely unreal. But the retirement is a real thing. We've seen this time and time again with international players. They retire. You know, when Andile leaves, is no longer going to be Metro FM, sends an email saying, hey, I'd like to say my goodbyes, I'm retiring. Our local players don't seem to do that often. Yes, there are those that do. There are those that speak to retirement. I think we had Bibo come on the show and say he'll never play football again. I think that is a retirement. That is saying that I'm unavailable. Not the unavailability, yeah, Coach Mamil Morgan. Yeah, or no, I'm retired, but if you call me, I might not be. No, not that one. You know, players retire. Do they retire? Should they retire? That's a conversation we're having. But a little bit earlier, just a couple of minutes ago, I was talking to the chairman of Richards Bay. You know, and I was asking him about the amount of wins he's had at home, which is the games that he plays in the KZN, versus the amount of wins that he's had away. 3 wins in KZN versus 5 away. So, hey, surely this is the one place where you want to be collecting as many points as possible. And he says, no, he's played every single game this season away because he doesn't consider eThekwini, Durban, to be home. He lives in Richards Bay. His players live and train in Richards Bay. So therefore, whenever they are to play a match at home, it's in Durban. They too need to go book and check into a hotel. They too need to make the drive up the day before. So then it's no different to traveling teams. It's no different from teams that are coming out of province. So he doesn't feel like he's had a home match. That disadvantage also going a long way to count. But the one concession he did make is the fact that, you know, people after the first couple of games, when they've played you the first time, they now know your players. They now know the strength of your coaching and what it is that you do, because a lot of the DSTV Premiership teams don't get to see what you do when you're out in the first division, in the championship, in the Motsepe Foundation Championship. So it's that sort of one could say advantage that you have when you come on. But once they've played you once, the second time they play you, they know you're a little bit different. Abong Ncube coming up in the next 2 hours, and we'll be talking to him about what he's going to be doing on his show. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up.
Don't touch that dial. It's now a different playing field. Metro FM. Hottest hit in the streets. We stay connected. Fabulous. No matter where you are or where we are. Metro FM. It's where you're at. The Metro FM Music Awards 2023 are back in Bombella, Mpumalanga. The awards return to honor and celebrate the best of South African talent. Stand by for the nominee announcements and get ready to vote for your favorite artist. The biggest night on the South African music calendar, going down on the 6th of May at the Mbombela Stadium of Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Metro FM, it's where you're at. Call the Metro FM live studio 0860 002 160. Yo, we gon' get them. Get connected. WhatsApp the Metro FM studio. 060 552 7303.
Welcome to it. It's, what is it, 6:57 on the Mighty Metro FM. This has been your broadcast of Sports Not Amplified with Andile. But unfortunately, time not on our side, and we've got to let it go. Got to go, because Ayabonga Cawe has entered the building, and he demands his 2 hours. So here he is in front of me. Are you well?
Dicela 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Nice.
How's it, man?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
The
shocked
Republic-
by the news you've just told me.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's been a story that's, and I had no idea of the story. I mean, I remember the Facebook rapist, and I remember that entire thing.
Yes, yeah.
But it unfolded over the last week in a way that we'd never thought of it in South Africa. It's something of a true crime drama at the moment. You know, filled with
gotta
love,
speak to your
money.
friends at TV, bruh.
This is definitely an amazing documentary.
This is the kind of global. I mean, leave aside the flicks people. You know, this is some other stuff.
So if you haven't heard of it, Thabo Bester, Facebook rapist, is accused of many crimes, goes to court, gets sentenced to life in prison, right? And then a little while later, he is found to have burnt and died in his cell. End of story, right? A murderer sentenced for life has died in prison. He was burnt. There must have been some sort of fight. End of story. And then a week or so ago, somebody sends pictures to the internet.
Yeah.
And they're saying, Woodworth saying,
Yeah.
hey man, guys, I've just spotted Thabo Bester. He's changed his hair. He's grown a beard.
Yeah, there was a disguise.
Yeah. But here he is. This is him. I mean, the love part now is there's a doctor who's involved who's been seen with this man, and it's turned out that it's the same doctor that once went to prison to try and collect the ashes of the burnt person in prison. Now, News 24 are reporting that there's a prison warder who's got emails that prove that the Deputy Minister of Justice was sent emails saying, no, man, listen, there's something going on within the prison that I work, because the person that burnt and died in there is definitely not Thabo Bester. Thabo Bester has escaped. So the ministry was told about this, is what this new information is now. What?
I'm confused, bruh.
Who confused him, ne?
So there's also another part to the story, right?
Oh, no.
That the person who got burnt, whoever he was, didn't die from the burn wounds.
Is this what the autopsy says now?
Yeah. Apparently, lo mntu wabethwa. I don't know if it's an autopsy or post-mortem or... Yeah. But whatever assessment was subsequently done...
so you're sacrificed, le? Lo mntu wabantu.
Yeah, and they lost, bro.
This is...
They lost. And I actually... Yeah, maybe we might have to reach out to the spokesperson there in the ministry, Crispin, to help us here, because I am confused. So they say here the person whose body was burnt in that cell had died from suffering trauma from blunt force.
So that's being hit with a blunt object.
Basically.
Yes.
Basically. Before being set alight. So that's what's according to a coroner's report. I don't know if the coroner did an autopsy or a post-mortem. I don't know what the difference is.
And I think, obviously, if you think about that, once the person is burned, then you can allege it to be anyone, really, is what they were thinking here.
Yeah. We want to bent beyond recognition.
Then we leave the person there, you go out, and you continue to live out their disguise and make sure you go unseen.
So look, I mean, it seems here that what is being implied here, Andile, by the, I guess, sense that an email had been sent to the Deputy Minister here, Inkosi Patekile Olomisa, is that one of two things has happened. The one is the systems worked within the correctional center to flag this, right? And that at the top, there wasn't, there was stone silence from the politicians. The second one is to suggest or imply that there's some conspiracy that is being aided and abetted.
But this is a conspiracy that goes high up.
Yeah, bro.
If it's in the ministry.
Yeah, bro. So that's, for me, reading this report from ground up. So ground up via, of course, News 24. It's written by Oliver Meth. So, yeah, we might actually want to check in with Oliver and Crispin Piri to better understand this. But you feel me move.
Because my whole thing would have been for the good doctor to come out and say, "Haike, and yes, but she said nothing. If I've been accused to the level of which she's been accused and pointed at, surely you say something. So
doctor has not responded?
I have not seen. I've tried to find out.
Because I heard on the weekend this thing got doctor. Dr.
Nandipa.
Dr. Nandipa. So now, Dr. Nandipa, Ungosnati, is the one who has been, for a long time, saying there's something funky happening here. I mean, Twitter investigators, they went and excavated tweets from during the hard lockdown. That time, where this guy was complaining about something between sisters, no brother.
After he was allegedly,
I think he was already incarcerated then. I stand to be corrected.
Yo, South Africa, man.
Hey, I'm a movie, man, film, guys.
This is unbelievable.
You know, I understand why maybe abantu be-TV bexakeka apha eSouth Africa, because the reality is much stranger than the fiction. We are if you're a storyliner, if you are a storyliner for S3 or even just for Simonye, and you're trying to put a compelling plot together, you first have to match reality, how sensational and dramatic reality is. And I think people battle with that. Apa, we should be a reality show country, basically. I mean, look how many South African stories are in global criminal reality TV show networks.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Chauke, Moses Sithole.
I mean, I remember the Chauke story ever so well. I mean, I was a young boy, but the Chauke story went on to prove how exposure of a certain type influences children. Because in my eyes, he was cool. When he went and delivered a Merry Christmas card to the busiest police station in South Africa, then Hillbrow, to the Minister of Police at the time, I think he was, not Minister, Commissioner, the late. He delivered after he had gone on and said by Christmas he will be in jail. That was what Datu Chekiselebi had gone on TV and said. Chauke walked in to, I mean, this is a crime.
Was it the Hillbrow police station?
I think it was the Hillbrow police station, but it was Johannesburg police station, so it must have been Hillbrow. And he delivered the card to say Merry Christmas to the commissioner.
For me, Chauke's story, Moses Sithole is also a piece of work. But Chauke and Mate's story.
Ananias.
Because Ananias Mate, it's also to your point. Yeah. But it's to your point. Leave aside the escape from C-Max. But when you uncover his story, you realize how he became what he became. And it's not unrelated to the war in Mozambique. And being a child soldier. Now think about how many other people in this country had to become quasi-child soldiers. Ama SDU, ama ini, and those people are roving in and around us. No psychiatric help, no intervention. So also, you know how in the States they always try and psychoanalyze people who do criminal activity. I also think there's a case to be made about that here in this country. I mean, leave aside that people are pieces of work and they do things that, are abominable and that we shouldn't condone. But there are sometimes psychological roots and stories to these stories that we need to better understand.
Must read a book called A Long Way Gone. It's a memoir of a child soldier written by Ishmael Bey.
A Long Way Gone.
Sure. And he speaks about, he's now, I don't want to ruin the book for you, but go get it. He speaks about being forced and how it is that he became a child soldier. At 12, 13 years old.
Sure.
And obviously then, what subsequently happens in those camps. Absolutely amazing and fascinating read. A Long Way Gone by Ishmael Bey. Bey spelled B-E-A-H. It'll get you. It'll get you into like the mind of child soldiers. But hey, We've gone left now. 6 after the hour.
No,
7.
sithathwa ngulotabo.
Trending number 1 in South Africa at the moment. Listen, I wasn't very familiar with the story before now, but I've had a look at those pictures. There's a huge resemblance.
Between the guy at Woolworths.
Did you look at that?
I looked at that thing. It's not the disguise is not so strong.
So la ponytail. Yes. And he's living in just walking among us.
South Africa. You were talking about players here who don't retire, who just stop playing. There are people who are supposed to be in jail, who don't get parole, who don't get whatever, who just retire from jail. Up in South Africa. Hey guys. No, it's a movie. Mcebo Dlamini was right, bro. We don't know what we were outraged by 2 weeks ago. It's like a series in episodes, the way.
Yeah. What was I outraged by 2 weeks ago?
Every week, bro.
Because the next thing comes.
A bizarre, a funky about South Africa.
Uchilo Stone, the Bongo Muffin.
Oh, Stone it.
What is Chongana Upperman and Dinoigi number 1, number 2. And is Libala Lendo also. Look at us. There's something else.
But we invested. We invested at responding.
Kanimbuza about what block don't game now because
what block one now?
The bona go get trend. I can't get chong upon the block you and come by here again.
But now Andile.
The block classic game.
Now what is the issues that tenders?
This game here. So 8 after the hour 7. You need to chase the story. We need to hear from the correctional services.
Yeah,
we need to hear from the Ministry of Justice.
We need to make a call after this.
We need to try and figure out from their end, why it is that something like this was slept on. What else do you have going on?
Oh yeah, tonight we head out to Kenya with Super Dave. You know Dave.
Yes, Super Dave, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about, what a moderator is.
I can assume. I mean, I grew up in schools where they tell us, about exams, so become moderator.
Oh, yeah. There's that moderator. Then there's what you do. I do it as well. You moderate a panel.
Of course,
kind of stuff, But now we're talking about moderators for social media.
Okay.
So there's an interesting documentary at the moment that's out about the failure of moderation on porn websites, right? Now, over the last few days or so, I didn't know that in Kenya, there are Facebook moderators. So people who sit and go on timelines every day to try and moderate the content that is being shared on Facebook. And now with all of the job losses out in the world of tech, many of them are up in arms because they've received their retrenchment notices out in Kenya. So we're going to talk about that, but also begin to better understand what a moderator does. And I know with the documentary that's out, they have to watch hours of footage. So it seems like on the case of Facebook, and I also know Twitter has moderators as well, that they probably have to be scouring people's timelines just to check what content is being put up.
I mean, I know this is not what you want to hear from a man talking about Pornhub, but go check out the documentary. It's on Netflix at the moment. It's called Money Shot, the Pornhub story, just to get an understanding of how that industry works and how it's not what you think you see and what you think It's actually devilishly horrendous. It's 9 after the hour 7. That's what you can expect on Aya's show. I'm going to be listening in just to see if you're able to get a hold of them. I know it's very short notice, but if not today, I know soon.
Sure. We'll also be doing some showlands as well with our friends at the South African Insurance Association. And we're going to be talking today about the impact of load shedding and the roads on your premiums.
That necessary evil. Abugela way. Got to get out of here. From myself and my entire team, we got to go. Sport at 10 this evening on SABC1. Make sure that you do catch it. Timothy Maranda, Thabo Nkwala, as well as Malcolm Glover. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Now listen, over the next 2 hours, if we all as a country agree that let the best among us lead, well, 2 hours of leadership is coming up with Ayabonga Kawe. From me and my team, Pela Pela. That's all me.